that's kind of where I was coming from with this conversation, and why I was saying that at least the spirituality is something that's unique to you. Now, to agree with what Cosmic is saying, and that the spirituality absolutely plays a place in moving forward the science, moving forward the civilization. Because one thing that I've studied is that a lot of the great conquering, or taking over somebody's basically just conquering comes with a dash of because my God told me to. And it's not just my God, it's all of our gods. Our God, this is our God, and our God is telling us to come together, whether or not the poorest person is still fighting and receives nothing. It's a common ideal. It's a common, yes, we need to all be good people to live in civilization, because if we want this to work, these people need to work together. So I do believe in, the spirituality interweaving within those things. But this is where I agree with fusion. When it comes down to that scientific method, it can't it can't be quantified. So yeah, they could be sisters. I absolutely agree with that. But I feel as though this human psyche is sometimes just takes it a little bit too far. That's it.
All right, thank you, Issa. Go ahead, Skinny Head.
I'm gonna be brave, and I'm gonna say sometimes I'm gonna put one name on it. My homie Wolfenstein. I could easily call him out. I could see, uh, Wolfenstein. Some people will get. It's like we would get religious about science, and like she said, like one humbling part. It's a lot of parts about the Bible, spiritual stuff, and all type of stuff where you gotta kind of humble yourself. And if when you trying to learn about life, if you don't or can't do that, and you got this like I already know, and then when I come into experiences that kind of could allow me to see different or learn different, I block it out. Then it's like a person that is hard headed. Cause like I'll be talking to Wolfenstein sometime, and I'll try to explain something. He's like, "Nope, that don't make sense." I'd be like, "You ain't even thought for 3 seconds yet. You already said it don't make sense till you like try to use your intelligent brain to try to understand." Like, and I think that even kind of is like that's I think that's even a spiritual thing. It's like never forget where you come from. Never, because that can get us into that Donnie Kruger effect type of thing. And then we move to spirituality, but when we factor in supernatural things, you really can't. It's hard to quantify. I'm gonna give an example how humble I am about this topic. Evolution is my number one favorite top logical theory on
Hey,
how human beings got here.
hey, twin.
But I used to call people crazy and stupid, and even if I ain't say it out loud, I'd be in my head like doing it. If they really believed in the Adam and Eve theory and all these other theories I heard, like somebody said we came out of eggs one time, all this different stuff. I I'm still team evolution, but I'm like I don't know for a fact. And then some of the other stuff I came across, I'm like I don't know. I can't guarantee say uh all of that stuff is fake. And what I used to do is when I asked people, I'm like, how long did it take God to form the dirt? When did the blood form? When was the person alive? Why they got an umbilical cord? I got all these questions, and the people could never give me no answers with no answers to it. And then I would use that as my conclusion to say, like, this got to be fake. Now, I'm not, no, Adam and Eve is like at the bottom of my list. But I realized I'm like, I can't be hypocritical because we see how the some people in certain religions function. Like if it's not in a book, they block everything out. They got an argument for it. They just push it out their life. And we'll look at them like we ain't doing that. Haha. But if we looked at ourselves, what level of stuff, where is our level points at? And if we look at ourselves, I'm telling you, we can go and we could discover some amazing stuff. Like we could discover some amazing stuff. But I'm gonna end there because it's some of the stuff. Like if somebody zapped in the portal from a whole nother universe, like we see on Marvel and all that type stuff, ain't no way to put that in no science. Like science we ain't there yet. So like it's a part where yes, the practices we can see could have a logical connection, but some of these beings, like when they say good beings came in and helped, bad beings came in. So the last thing I'm gonna say, if anybody's seen the show Dan on Netflix, it's an anime show where it's aliens and it's spirits. And the aliens can't invade Earth like they want to because the spirits, they can't fight the spirits. But then they try to use a certain type of human to be able to fight the spirits. But it almost blends supernatural and science type stuff at the same time. So I don't know if anybody interested in anime.
You finished, Skinnyhead? All right, go ahead, Cosmic.
All right. So when it comes to things that are quantifiable, I want to comment on that. And spirituality. I think doing an observation of history and then looking at the results of what was being done and then categorizing it, right? Like to me, I think the greatest tragedy that happened to us was the rape and stealing of our culture. And I do believe that it's the reclamation of our culture that's going to help us as a people. But I think that it's going to be the reclamation of the functional, healthy parts of our culture. There are still unhealthy, dysfunctional parts of our culture that need to be discarded, I believe. Right? Like, and one of those, I think, is the complete and reliance. Actually, I'm going to put it like this, on prayer to change a situation. And I'm going to put prayer, I'm going to put ritual in the same category as prayer. No matter how many people are involved in the ritual, I still think it's prayer. And I think that there's an over-reliance of African people on prayer to change the situation. Because if African spirituality was effective, the European would not be able to do what he's done to African people, to Black people, to indigenous people, period. So I think there is a space for spirituality as far as the cultivation of the individual, the cultivation of character, even the attunement of the person with the universe around them. But I also think there is a level of our culture that we have to develop to meet people head on when they come to us. Like, and I think we have to be able to discern have discernment or be able to categorize those aspects of spirituality that even glorify in African spirituality what would be considered the category of a goon, war and politics. There's this overemphasis on this la-di-da, let's go drink marshmallow caramel sherbets together in the park type of spirituality, and let's experience altered states of consciousness where we can talk to floating green elves. There's that level, and then that's the promotion. But there is also a very practical, I got to get my hands in the dirt. I got to grow my own food. I have to take care of my family. Well, I have to take care of myself. Then I have to take care of my family. Then I have to take care of my community. Then I have to guard myself. I have to guard my family. I have to guard my community against inimical beings, right? Inimical influences, period. Inimical influences are those influences on myself that can take me down. I have to stop myself from doing, drugs. I have to stop myself from taking advantage of people, manipulating people. I have to be upright and honest with everybody, with myself and with those people around me, so that we can have a good community. That's spirituality as well. And then I have to defend that against people that would destroy that. That's a level of spirituality I think that's not really emphasized or talked about. There's a really aggressive part of spirituality. Like when you get on the spiritual path and you tell yourself, I'm not going to be surrounded by this, and a third, right? When you separate from your friends that are out there still partying and drinking, you're taking a knife and you're severing those ties. But that's a very aggressive and violent way to do things. But there's room for that. When you fast and you say, I'm not going to do this or do that for this specific time, that's a very aggressive way of going after your spirit. And we have to do the same thing in relation to global politics. We can't, and I think that part of African spirituality, that prayer part of African spirituality is overemphasized. Like there's a greater, and I think that's still part of the Bronze Age mythological mindset. There's a greater power that's out there ahead of us taking care of everything. The ancestors are taking care of absolutely everything. God, our Olodumare, is taking care of absolutely everything. Asar is no, I don't think so. We are taking care of it. I'm driving. If I go over to the right too hard, I'm going to run into this dude on me. If I don't stop at this light, I'm going to hit this dude. There's a level of accountability on the physical level that we have to also take into account. I'm going to land it right there.
All right, thank you, Cosmic. Fusion, go ahead.
So in relation to what God Energy was saying, it sounds like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the science and the spirituality, even though they have separate methods, but they, like you said, have a common ancestor, or if they at the very least have two different evolutionary paths, for the evolutionary people in the room. So we can say that they have definitely two different evolutionary paths. Like that has to be considered when we're trying to mesh the two together, because the evolutionary path of science develops a method across it, and the evolutionary paths of our so-called spiritualities have methods, but not the same, not a get to a proof type of method. So that we have to put certain things in the gaps in the spirituality, but that's a result of both of their different evolutionary paths. But if they do have a common ancestor, then even still that common ancestor would be the human mind. That would be where they both originated from, even though they have two different evolutionary paths. So even science is a conceptualization of the world from the human mind in its environment. And I mean the mind as a process, not as a thing. So it's something that comes out of that process. We can say that both of those things are something that emerged out of that process, and emerged more and become more sophisticated over the longer that we can survive in our environment, which is in itself natural and not supernatural and very natural and very much a part of nature. So this part of nature that we're experiencing in two separate conceptualizations of the world, where one conceptualization requires a method to come to a conclusion in that conceptualization, and one conceptualization does not require the same method to come to a conclusion. So that may be the only difference between those two, but that's a huge difference.
I don't even know how to pronounce that. Jesus? Is it Jesus?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Before you just got in here, like everybody been talking about all kinds of stuff in here. So I just thought maybe you could listen here. Did you have something you wanted to say?
I'm sorry.
Hello?
You was
I might
breaking
not be
up.
able
I
to hear
can.
you because I'm in the
Yeah,
basement.
yeah. I was definitely attempting.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was trying to get some bottled water.
Mic check.
Go ahead.
Mic check one. Can y'all hear me?
Sorry, I had to go to
Oh,
the
okay.
basement. Yeah, I
Um.
can hear you.
Yeah. No. 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 Yeah. No. Of course. I was wanting to weigh in, but I was wanting to make sure that I was weighing in on the topic correctly and not just jumping in and yelling squirrel. But thanks to the homie, he let me know. Is spirituality and science one and the same? It's kind of the central theme.
Yeah,
Uh,
go ahead, go for it.
Indeed. Well, uh, it's definitely one and the same. The only difference is the way that the applied understanding to those things has been applied. Um, Religion is nothing more than a subsequent response to organizing the understanding or the science or understanding the science of what is referred to as spirituality. I had put in the comments that the word spirituality really is one of the places where it starts to convolute, the subject. Because most people don't know what spirit nor spirituality is. It begins to get into what kind of like what Cosmic was talking about, where you've got these incorrect understandings of what it is that you're trying to express. You know, um, I would disagree in a small sense with what Cosmic said in the sense of too much of an emphasis placed on prayer. I would correct that, and well, not really disagree, but maybe edify it in saying that maybe not too much emphasis placed on it, but not enough education on what it actually is and which universal principle that it correlates with so that one can actually efficiently use it, in their life. You know what I mean? The way that it's been taught, of course, it's just we're screaming out our wishes to the universe type shit, and that's definitely the furthest like principle that actually has to do with prayer, and it's the same thing with the rest of what we call spirituality. Again, even down to the word spirituality itself, we've turned the word spirituality into this magic wand that we're waving around in the universe, screaming ashe and sage, thinking that oh, now we're doing some new shit, and it's not that. So I think the biggest way that we're actually going to be able to actually get, a real change in the way that we manifest, the way that we live, the way that we interact with one another, is when we actually hold accountable those superficial understandings and start to truly bring into account the actual deeper meanings and utilizations of these subjects.
All right, thank you. Skinny Head, where's you next?
Uh, man, I keep forgetting everything I want to say, but I think it was something. Oh, when he was saying the evolution of it, and all of it coming from the mind, and that's why I want to keep wrapping in supernatural into the conversation, because we went to spiritual now, and I think, in my opinion, I mean supernatural in a way, kind of. I don't know which one would be in which category would you put, but I don't think I think super I think spiritual things, it starts very basic. Us, how we speak, how we treat one another. What Cosmic was saying, understanding things like outside of ourselves, like uh how I it's not just about me, how I affect my family and how I move, it can affect my family, my environment, my country, the whole planet. And it's even to how, like we said, like we need to get our culture back to some type of way, because even without this environmental stuff going on, most cultures all over the world seem to care about the planet in some type of way. A lot of the culture that we living in with this American stuff, we dumping stuff in the ocean. We not putting enough study into different fuel and energy things, and trying to promote that type of cultures. Like whatever's cheap, that's what we need to do. Like that's the type of, we're in a survival culture, and party and survive. Like almost, I don't know how to explain it. Uh, but I the evolution, I think, of spirituality definitely did start with natural things. I think once we even evolved to a certain point where we could realize, like, oh shit, I could be greedy. I could over farm the land or overeat shit. Like I gotta let the fruit grow back. I can't just eat the fruit, chop the tree down, and use it for wood and all this type of stuff. If I want to eat next year, like, so over time, like, or if I can't keep treating my family a certain way, if we both supposed to go hunt together tomorrow, and if I want my kids to be safe around them, so we got to develop certain practices to keep us in alignment outside of what we evolved to be capable of doing. I think that's where the spiritual practices and the human type stuff come in at. But the supernatural stuff, that's a whole nother topic that it's almost like if we don't experience it, it's hard for a lot of us to just even conceive that it could possibly be real. And that's what I wanted to add just to get myself back on track, I guess.
All right, thank you, Skinny Head. Hold on. Cosmic, go ahead. You were next. Go ahead.
I wanted to agree with Jesus, sorry, brother, that name. Because I think more education on the effectiveness of these practices and what areas, is needed. Because like even somebody would bring up like, oh, the Haitian Revolution, they used African spirituality to help them out. Yeah, no doubt. They also used knives and guns. So what really was going on, right? Because for those hundreds of years, that they were enslaved prior to the Haitian Revolution, they were also doing African rituals. And that wasn't helping. On that, or what level did that help? So I think, you know, categorizing and putting things in their place is necessary, you know, but just thinking that sitting down and praying for a better life in some other space and time, I think that's a weapon. And as a matter of fact, I think the greatest weapon of spirituality is literature, because it's been through literature that billions of people throughout the course of time have been oppressed. I'm speaking of the Dalits in India, you know, black people of India who've been oppressed through the Brahmin system because of their dark skin. And then the Brahmins putting it in their spirituality that they come out the feet of Brahma. That's why they're dark and dirty, and they do all the dirtier tasks in Indian society. That's been a system of white supremacy, apartheid, oppression for thousands of years. And it's all through literature. The Bible, another very powerful literary spiritual tool. And we see how, you know, we see how powerful it is. We like all of us each and every day are dealing with people that are influenced by this Bible. So I think that's another literary tool, another point of our aspect of spirituality that has to be studied, developed, and then respected for where it's at, but not overemphasized. I think the overemphasis on certain aspects is a detriment. Like I said, overemphasizing manifestation, I guess. Overemphasizing manifestation and not emphasizing physical enactment is an issue.
All right, thank you, Cosmic. Go ahead, Jesus.
No, that was right on the money, cause like it's the super sensationalism that actually takes away the power of the information, of the practice, of, you know, that which we are. The literature definitely has been used instead of a source of instruction or information. It's been used as propaganda, and that's what's kicking our ass. Is the fact that all of these things, every religion, every spiritual system, it started as a science. It started as something that we were observing, you know, taking note of, analyzing, moving forward, you know what I'm saying, and doing the same thing over and over again until, you know, we mastered it, which, as we know, nothing gets mastered. Everything's like a onion. There's going to be layers upon layers upon layers, and then when you get to the center, you're going to find out that there's even more layers. So if that aspect of what it is that we do, because I swear to God, I hate calling, I swear to God, I swear I hate calling it spirituality. I really truly do, because we've bastardized that word, that understanding so much. It's not spirituality. It literally is science. It literally is how you as a being operates in the entirety of the universe and vice versa. It's literally how, why, when, what, you know, all of that. You dig what I'm saying? And since we've kind of, they took away our desire to truly understand these things when they gave us the faith to believe in these things. And that's what keeps us from walking on water. That's what really keeps us from being able to do the things that mystify us so much. You know, these things are actually regular practice like breathing, but because we don't understand the processes, we can't utilize them efficiently.
You know, I kind of like where he's taking it, because it. One thing I've always said is, like, people, they fantasize about this stuff and they like to skip. We want results so much, people want to skip steps. And it's like some people damn near they damn near skip the spiritual part and want to just jump all the way into like levitating and telekinesis and having visions and tarot. They want to get into a lot of that stuff. The gifts, damn near, is what some people call some of that, before they learn simple manipulation. And it's like, or good characters, like Cosmic was saying earlier. And that's what most of what we call the spiritual systems or the religions is teaching good character. And I kind of get why, one reason why I could get why somebody could be upset with the word, because you got like certain stuff that like evil practices down there, and somebody would probably group that under spirituality too. I don't, what we would call evil practices, like, and I don't know how real that stuff is. The Illuminati stuff, when they be saying they eating babies and they getting something from that. I don't know if it have some scientific legitimacy in it, like it's some minerals or something they getting out of that. I don't know, or some supernatural stuff going on that's happening. I don't know. That's crazy work. I don't get that deep into it, if that's real or not. But the that's why I could agree with the term, because it's so broad, and outside looking in,